Good evening, everybody, Mayor and City Council. I would like to introduce Arts Commissioner Chair, past Chair, and Arts Commission member Andrew McMasters. Andrew will be presenting our Arts Commission's grants for 2025, our Arts and Culture Grants funding cycle.
All right. Thank you, everyone. In September, the panel of art commissioners reviewed and interviewed 12 applicants for the Arts and Culture Grant funding. Selection was challenging to balance more than about $79,250 worth of asks when we have about $40,000 to allocate. So what we're here to do is request the continued funding of $20,000 per year to sustain the Highline Heritage Museum located in downtown Burien, and then also to kind of tell you where we are with the rest of our funding priorities. The next slide, please.
You have your clicker.
Oh, I do it. Look at that.
Made it click.
Yeah, you do it. That's great. We have control. All right. So that basically is our first piece we just talked about. Our funding priorities included helping to support Burien arts, culture, and heritage organizations, as well as cultural experiences for the Burien community and underserved populations. The Arts Commission has selected the following funding allocations. The first one, which I think is a huge one that is kind of near and dear to all of us, funding the Highline Historical Museum. That supports the preservation of more than 25,000 objects in their collection, state-of-the-art facility that welcomes 6,500 visitors a year, numerous film screenings, performances, community dialogues, author events, artist shows, lectures, and more. And in fact, Linda and I were talking beforehand about I guess on Sunday, the Posada, and I missed it, unfortunately, but it had over 400 people there. So that was an amazing event right there on Sunday. So that's for the Highline Heritage Museum. Funding for the Burien Arts Association to continue the free 7 Stories monthly storytelling program at the Highline Heritage Museum. Those have been very, very popular. If you haven't seen one, they're great. Also funding for there we are. Funding for the Burien Actors Theater, which will provide at least 4 plays with 9 to 12 performances for each in Burien. The funding also supports discounted tickets and free summer plays in the Burien parks right outside here. The next one is for the Highliners Musical Theater, and this is for their production of Newsies. The production will include a cast of 40 students and serve approximately 1,700 audience members. Pay what you can tickets are part of that funding to help remove financial barriers for families and also scholarships for some of the students. The next one is the Momentum Dance Ensemble for their 2025 ballet productions, including their spring production of Sleeping Beauty and the annual winter production of The Nutcracker. Funding helps to provide scholarships for kids who couldn't otherwise participate. Funding for the Northwest Associated Arts, and that is to support their Silver Sounds performance at the Highline Performing Arts Center for their spring production of Do You Remember When? Silver Sounds is a mixed chorus, mostly retired seniors, but this performance will also feature teen sounds, which is comprised of youth from 12 to 18 years of age. The funding will also support free or reduced price tickets. And of course, an anchor here, funding for the Northwest Symphony Orchestra. That will support 5 concerts and the extensive work that they do in the Highline schools. It's anticipated that the Northwest Symphony Orchestra will serve more than 5,000 people during 2025. And the upcoming season will include over 20 visits by Northwest Symphony Orchestra museums and musicians, and music director Anthony Spain to several different schools in the Highline School District. Also looking for Sound Ensemble. This is $1,500 for Sound Ensemble, which will support a concert at the Highline Performing Arts Center featuring newly composed music by musicians from diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Funding will also support composition clinics and a contest for the middle and high school students of Burien. The winning composition will be performed during the concert. And it was great to be able to fund this one, the Encanto Arts. This will support high school mariachi workshops and folklorico dance culminating in a summer performance right out here in Burien Town Square Park. The Orchestra of Flight, they're $750, which is kind of all they ever ask for. It's amazing. We'll support local Burien-based organizations, provide 2 to 3 free concerts targeted to seniors who may not be able to attend traditional venues. These concerts are open to the general public as well. And the Highline Community Symphonic Band, the next one. Funding for that is to provide free concert series with at least 2 performances in Burien. Band members range from their teens all the way up to their 90s, and the concerts will serve about 400 people. And this is the Arts Core. This is to cultivate creativity, social emotional development, and leadership identity of young people, while narrowing the race and income-based arts education opportunity gap that exists in our region. These residencies are targeting 2 elementary schools with a high percentage of English language learners and students qualifying for free and reduced lunches. There was one application which we did not fund. As we sort of looked at the criteria again of using the funds to make sure that it had the public benefit, we found one that they needed $5,000 in order to run the program, and it would only serve an estimated 50 participants in a single performance. So we felt that just wasn't a good use of the funding. So what the Art Commission is proposing to the council, $34,750 for specified arts and culture grants in 2025. The Arts Commission has approved the additional $5,225 for our rolling grants. And I don't know if you're familiar with these are projects that are outside of that normal grant cycle. It allows us to be more nimble, and as opportunities tend to arise in 2025, we can bring greater art experiences to Burien, such as the Mural Masters, which we were able to do this year, the annual street art fair. That is all of our calls for funding. Are there any questions?
I just wanted to be clear, are we doing a motion right now, or is this gonna come back to us?
No motion.
Oh,
It's reapproved in the budget.
oh, got it. Is there any question? What, Councilmember Icky?
It's going to be more of a comment than questions.
We love those.
Yes. Thank you. I greatly appreciate hearing the detail of what the programs will be offering. All of these programs have been, most of them have been done within our community and continue to be done. And we've been able to see the results of those programs within our community. And I appreciate you taking a serious look at each of those. Can you tell me how much time did the commissioners spend reviewing the applications and providing feedback? Were they using a computer system? Like how did they review the grants, and how long did it take them
I can kind of-
individually?
We
maybe?
can,
Yeah, we'll tag team.
we can tag team this. So we started this year an online grant system. So the applications were online, and then all of those applications went to our review committee, which there was like 4 or 5. And then they had a tally sheet. So all the criteria was graded, and they all filled out their tally sheets for each and every one of those grants. So you could probably speak to how much time that took. It was
Yeah.
several hours.
Of all the ones that we get, we look through the entire grant, including everything from what is their financial status, what have they done previously, their grant application, their budgets. And then based off of that, we have a scoring metric that we've put down. So each one of the board members who did that, 5 of us on that committee, and then those get compiled, and then we come back and we basically have a discussion based off of what those scores are. Which is always very interesting when, 4 of the people will score something very high and one person scores it low, and then it's like, why did you score it low? Or vice versa. But it adds to some great discussions about what is it we're looking for and what kind of arts do we want to continue to foster.
We also do a marathon night with all of
Yes.
the prospective grantees. They get 10 minutes to present. We did this on Zoom, so they have 10 minutes to present to the commissioners on that committee for any questions that they might want to ask. And it just kind of rounds out the information for them a little better.
So on total, sorry,
Yeah.
probably a couple of hours, each of us individually, looking through all the applications, putting in scoring documents. then a couple of hours again to be able to go, okay, here's where we are. What do we think? Let's kind of have those discussions. And then the marathon session, which is another 3 hours. We will then probably do a follow-up at the end of that marathon session to say, what do we want to fund and how are we allocating it?
And this is done once a year except for the rolling grants?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other council members have any questions? Thank you so much for your guys' time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.